What happens when two outspoken voices from the UK streets, each with deep roots and loyal followings, finally clash? Alright fam, let's get into it. The beef between RTM Spray, better known as Young Spray, and Loonz is one of those rivalries that's been brewing for years. A clash built on personal history, street affiliations, and the raw energy of the UK music and culture scene. This ain't just a quick spat, it's a saga with roots that run deep. So grab a seat, and let's unpack this North London versus East London showdown. First, the players. Young Spray, real name Leon Riviere, is a Tottenham icon. He's a key figure in the North Star collective, repping North London with a ferocity that's tied to his links with Tottenham Mandem heavyweights like C1. On the other side, you've got Loonz, Andre Pierre Osborne, a name tied to Hackney's Mashtown crew, an East London outfit that once dominated the game. Their beef traces back to that classic divide, North London versus East London, a territorial tension that's been simmering for over a decade. Spray's Tottenham loyalties put him at odds with Mashtown affiliates, and Loonz, with his past in that circle, became a natural target. So what's kept this fire burning, I hear you ask? It was once music, now it's words on podcasts. The conflict's been fueled by diss tracks and public call-outs that hit hard. Take Spray's track round here, from his realer-than-most mixtape era. This was a track that didn't pull punches, aiming straight at Mashtown and leaving no doubt about who he was talking about. Now, it wasn't necessarily Loonz himself, but his camp, Mashtown, didn't just sit there. They fired back with their own tunes, naming Spray as the enemy. Loonz was naturally affiliated, but if you listen to his words on his podcast, he wasn't a rap guy back then. He was a robber. Back in the day, we saw UK rappers as nerds, he says. Anyway, the back and forth between the two camps turned personal, each side trying to outdo the other on the mic. Now, as time's moved on, it's not just bars anymore. The tension between the two camps has spilled over into words on podcasts. Spray has become very vocal recently on his podcast, a place where he airs out his issues, often taking aim at peers like Loonz and Tricky from Mashtown. Meanwhile, Loonz also holds it down on his own podcast, No Behaviour, which he co-hosts with his boy Margs. It's key to note that on Loonz's podcast, he often talks in code. You have to read between the lines to figure out who he's talking about. Spray, on the other hand, is much more direct with his disses on his pod. Since 2022, this beef's evolved. Less about street smoke, more about who's got the real clout in the content game, with Spray questioning Loonz's relevance and Loonz hitting back at Spray's credibility. But here's the plot twist, and where it gets wild. Despite all the venom, Spray's admitted he used to vibe to Mashtown now and then, back in the day. Spray often vents and shares his thoughts on his podcast, sometimes even shouting out members of the No Behaviour podcast. It's wild, strange, and kind of admirable all at once. With Spray, it seems like he's on a new path with the podcast. He doesn't really want the beef. But his past keeps coming back to haunt him, which is why some of these old feuds are still alive to this day. Which is why in 2024 it popped off again, this time on X, between Loonz and Spray. Around August, posts started flying. Loonz was downplaying Spray's influence, saying he'd lost his juice, while Spray's supporters clapped back, swearing he still wore the crown. From that point on, Loonz and Spray went back and forth on social media. But it was all just words, until now. Loonz also seemed to have issues with another one of Spray's affiliates, a musician named Dutchavelli. Spray and Dutch seemed to have cooled things off, which only added to the tensions. Earlier this year, in 2025, Loonz claimed they ran into each other in person, shook hands, and both agreed to squash it, admitting the situation had dragged on too long. However, Spray, he wasn't having it. On a recent podcast episode with LV General, Spray shut it down completely. He denied the handshake ever happened between Dutch and Loonz, calling it pure fiction. He even claimed things got techie for Loonz during their meetup, and Spray even called Dutch live on the show for backup on his story. As of April 2025, no one's got receipts. No video, no pics, nothing. So it's all he said they said at this point, but hopefully we can all hope it was just a peaceful handshake. Realistically, everyone should be grown and mature about the situation. Agree to disagree. Accept they don't like each other, but still show respect and keep it moving. No one wants to see anything bad happen to either of these men. Anyway, for now, that's all the updates we've got on the Spray and Loonz situation and how it all started. Hopefully it's finally come to an end.